sometimes it's not just about, the talent of the coach or, how he's teaching it. It's what he's actually teaching. And that's what I've been most impressed with Kaleb. Obviously, we're in a little bit different style of offense, and the expectations, the fundamentals, the techniques, all that kind of stuff are going to be different. And he just come in with open arms and big ears, literally like listening to everything I say and taking a lot of notes, which is really positive to see. Some guys come in and they think they know it all, or my old coach said this, and that's how I'm going to do it, and that has not been the case at all.
Talk a little bit about Cade.
Out wide or in the slot? He played a lot in the slot before, but
right now we have him playing pretty much all over, trying to narrow things down for him so he can really hone in on his skills and where we see him fit best. But we played him all over. We played him outside, we played him inside in the slot. And again, another piece of it is the special teams piece, which we've made a personal challenge in our rooms to make sure that we're contributing to all phases of the game. So that's one thing that we need to be better at, in my opinion, not just being the returner, whether it be kickoff return or punt return, but just contributing to all phases, offensively and special teams. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see him playing a couple of different spots, not only on offense, but hopefully on special teams as well.
If you could comment a little bit about the addition of Cade McNamara at the quarterback position.
Absolutely. I think all the additions with Deacon and Cade, they've brought they brought some energy and some juice, and that's what it's all about. As we all know, it starts with the trigger man, the quarterback, the guy that's behind the center, and if they believe in that guy or those guys in that room, and it makes a lot of difference. So our guys are really confident, and I think that started with that California trip that they did. It became kind of a hot topic, I guess, with you guys going out to California. But I think that's where it started. Got a lot of positive feedback. Like I said earlier, I wasn't cool enough to get invited to that. I don't think any coaches were. They see us kind of, they need to stay on the outside, which is a good thing. So they needed some team bonding, and it was good because it was more than just receivers and quarterbacks. There were tight ends there. I know some players from the other side of the ball were there as well. So it was good for some bonding and some leadership. Opportunities that came about out of it, and just them getting to know each other on a personal level.
I don't know, you seem pretty cool.
Any of the freshmen jumping out early?
Yes. I would say there's a couple guys. I don't want to put too much pressure on anyone.
Give us some names. Come on.
But if I had to single some guys out right now through seven practices, a guy like Jared Bowie is really doing some really positive things. You never know what you're going to get with a first-year guy, whether it be a transfer, but especially a high school, a young man coming to high school. And Jared Bowie is doing some really positive things. He's just a young man that just nothing seems too big for him. It's kind of the best way to describe Jared. Whether it's practice, the meeting room, walkthroughs, whatever, seems to always be locked in, and then it shows up on the practice tape. So looking for really good things out of him, and seeing if he can put himself in a position to hopefully get on a couple special teams and maybe even some offensive roles. And then another young man I would name is Dayton Howard. Out of Kansas City, that's doing a really good job. They're two different players, but they bring some size and length to our room which we need. I kind of like, no offense to my shorter guys, but I kind of like walking the room and looking up to some guys in my room, and both of those guys I look up to, especially Dayton. He's got a lot of length, a lot of size, and man, for somebody his size, he moves really well, really fluid. Somebody who's 6'4", 6'5", so those two guys I would say for sure are doing really well. But the whole group, especially the freshman group, they're doing a good job of making that transition from high school to college.
What's the challenge as a position coach of, you got kind of like half a new room this year? There's a lot of new faces, came in during winter, but also now. What is the challenge for you, and how much do you lean on Nico and guys like him or Deontay to kind of help you bring the group along?
I'll start with the opposite end. I'll start at the back end of that question and work my way backwards. So Nico and Deontay, you hit on the head. I lean on them a lot. Nico's a guy that I trust. We've been together for a long time. I was joking with him on the field the first practice. I only have 11 months on him in this program. That's all. I've been here 11 months longer than he has, which is crazy to think about, because I feel like I've been here half a lifetime. I'm very blessed to be here. And Deontay is doing a really good job too. Deontay is taking it upon himself to take these opportunities to show his maturity. Not only physically, but more importantly from a leadership and social standpoint. So Deontay is doing a really good job. And then, the piece about, a lot of new faces in my room, I don't necessarily see that as a negative. I see it as a positive. It's an opportunity to start fresh with new faces and new expectations, and everybody has a standard for themselves, and we're all trying to raise that standard. So I don't see the new faces as a negative. Whoever chose to leave, that's their business, and my job is to bring in the best product that's going to help Iowa football win, and I think we've done a pretty good job, and hopefully that's going to reflect September 2nd and moving forward.
When you were looking in the portal, what about Seth Anderson was it that kind of initially stood out to you?
His humility was the number one thing. Obviously, the film spoke for itself. I mean, he was, if I'm not mistaken, he was like a finalist for the Jerry Weiss Award or something like that in the FCS level, which enough said right there, right? Obviously, so his athletic ability spoke for itself. But when I got to talk to him, and then more importantly, when I got to spend time with his parents, his dad, the famous NFL receiver, and then spend time with his family, and I got to know his brother when they came on campus in the spring. His humility. He's a very humble kid. He knows he's good, no doubt about it. Which that's part of being a good receiver, is you got to have some confidence in yourself. But he knows he's got a lot more to learn, and his ceiling is really high. And that's what I've seen out of Seth so far. Every practice, every opportunity that he's had a chance to come out here and show what he can do, I've seen increments of improvement. And that's all I can ask for. That's what I can ask for from an individual standpoint, from a group standpoint, and that's what I'm looking for out of myself, to improve daily and take advantage of every opportunity.
What does Brown look like so far this fall?
Who's that?
Brown.
Caleb Brown?
Yeah, how's he look so far?
He's looking really good. Done some really good things, and the athletic ability, there's no question there. I remember recruiting him out of high school. If I'm not mistaken, I remind him this all the time. We were his first offer as a true freshman. As a freshman in high school, we were his first offer down at the Lindenwood camp. So